The NFL trade deadline has wrapped up, and we are breaking down the biggest non-Jets trade deadline deals in this video because we just did a Jets-specific video. So if you want to check that one out, our thoughts on all the Jets trades, go check that one out as well. But other teams were also making deals, believe it or not, and I want to start with a move by the Las Vegas Raiders as the Las Vegas Raiders trade wide receiver Jakobi Meyers to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 4th and a 6th in the 2026 draft. My immediate takeaway from this trade, Sammy, is Travis Hunter out for the year? Like, making a move like this to get a wide receiver makes me think that this injury is bad. And based on all the reporting of it, non-contact knee injury in practice makes me believe this is a really bad injury for Travis Hunter, which is super unfortunate. We talked about it in a previous video. He was just starting to break out. He had a really good game against the Los Angeles Rams, looked like he was starting to find his footing. And then to have a dramatic knee injury like that is really, really disappointing. So that was my first takeaway. Is Travis Hunter out for the year? My second takeaway is Jakobi Meyers is now going to plug into the Travis Hunter role. He should play that Chris Godwin role in that Liam Cohen system that we saw come from Tampa Bay now over to Jacksonville. Should help out the passing game that's struggling a lot. This Jacksonville Jaguars pass game has struggled a lot. Brian Thomas Jr. does not look like the same player that he was in his rookie year. Lots of drop balls, lots of miscommunications with him and Trevor Lawrence. But I also don't think this is going to make a huge difference for this team either. Like, the Jags are still just going to be a fringe playoff team to me, and the Jags have now traded their own 1st, their own 4th, and their own 6th in the next year's draft, but they still have 11 picks in the next year's draft as well. They got a 2nd and 3/3 next year as well. And as far as the Raiders go, you get some mid to late round draft capital, predictable trade considering, they haven't been using Jakobi Meyers as of late, and he requested a trade earlier in the year, and there's been a lot of drama going back and forth, so predictable on their end. But Sammy, what do you think about this Jakobi Meyers to the Jacksonville Jaguars trade?
Yeah, I like it. I will say this, though. I don't think Travis Hunter's out for the year. I actually just found a tweet, Matt, from Ian Rappaport that says Travis Hunter is not expected to be out long term, though he is out for at least 3 more games. So I think this definitely fills in for the Travis Hunter role. Now, what I'm interested in is where Travis Hunter fits in after the 3 games he's out. So because he's going to be wide receiver 3, because I don't think he's a better receiver than Jakobi Meyers, like, at all, especially given the production that Jakobi Meyers has produced, so to speak. I like this trade for the Jaguars. I think there's been a lot of uncertainty at the wide receiver spot. Okay, Brian Thomas Jr. has clearly taken a dip in production. Travis Hunter hasn't been utilized as greatly as we'd like on the offensive side of the ball, although he did have a breakout game previously. I think Jakobi Meyers opens things up for both of them. So once Jakobi Meyers gets there, Travis Hunter gets back, I think we're going to see a lot more Brian Thomas Jr., ironically enough. I think it opens a lot of things up there. For the Raiders, why didn't you trade him earlier? Maybe you just wanted to, I think he was at the peak of his value, I believe, at the beginning of the season. You could have gotten a lot more for him. Although a 4th and 6th round pick isn't a bad haul. I mean, you could have maybe even squeaked in a 3rd if you had traded him at the beginning of the season, in my opinion. I like this trade, though, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like that they're buyers. I like that they're trying to compete in an AFC where they have a strong chance to make the playoffs. It's not impossible. It's a tall task given you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs in that race, but you already beat them, so that helps. I like this trade, though. I think it bolsters the wide receiver room. I don't think what I also think is Trevor Lawrence. You better start playing well now. I don't know how much more help you need. I don't know.
Man, we've been talking about this with Trevor Lawrence for a long time, though. We said that after Brian Thomas.
Exactly,
we said that after Travis Hunter.
This is now we gave you 3. We gave you 3 now. Okay, you better start playing well now. I don't know what to expect, bro. It's.
And I think me and you have both been Trevor Lawrence believers over the years. I was heavy on Trevor Lawrence a couple years ago, but it's just been consistently mediocre. It hasn't been anything special. It hasn't been anything overly terrible. It's just been right down the middle. We got like you said, Sammy, on a previous episode. This year 5, year 6. We're getting to a time where you got to show something, bro. You got the weapons, you got the offensive mind. You gotta start showing us something. But speaking of a team that already has weapons and an offensive mind, they just added another one. The Seattle Seahawks get Rashid Shaheed from the Saints for a 4th and a 5th next year. And Sammy, I like this trade a lot more than I like the Jakobi Meyers trade because the Seattle Seahawks been dealing with some wide receiver injuries, including the Cooper Kupp. Now they have a big time deep threat receiver in Rashid Shaheed, one of the league's fastest wide receivers and the best deep threats in the NFL, to pair with JSN, who JSN can get deep. That's part of his game, but he does most of his damage in the intermediate 10 to 15 yard routes down the field. That's where JSN's at his best. Plus, with how Sam Darnold is throwing the ball deep down the field this year, Rashid Shaheed could have a bunch of big plays. Safeties must stay back now. Just like the safeties got to stay back against the Seahawks defense because of Sam Darnold's deep ball ability. Rashid Shaheed obviously getting down the field. JSN can obviously take the top off the defense as well. So, and when the safeties stay back, you know what that means? That's going to open up more running lanes as well for Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So the Seahawks knew going into this trade deadline, we have a damn good team, one of the best teams in the NFC. How can we bolster it? They bolstered it by getting one of the best deep threats in the league, and they just got a whole hell of a lot better, Sammy. I really like this trade for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I like it too. I will say that this definitely makes me think a little bit differently of Seattle, because Seattle, I felt like, was missing that third wide receiver to really take them over the top. And this guy right here can take the top off. So I think it's a very good trade for them. Now what I'm like interested to see is that how much does this open up the game for JSN? I mean, he's already been the best receiver in football this year since he's been healthy, because I think Puka Nacua is better. But like, it's just, this trade makes me think a lot higher of Seattle. Sam Darnold, already an MVP candidate. I think this opens things up tremendously for not just JSN, but for Cooper Kupp. If Cooper Kupp can stay healthy now, I think you're going to see a lot of production from him. I know, look, I'm not expecting Rashid Shaheed to get like too much gravity, but I think having a deep threat like that is important, is especially important. And it opens things up for your possession receivers like Cooper Kupp and your elite route runners like JSN. So I'm excited to see what Seattle does. They already have a fantastic defense. Shout out to Mike McDonald. He's always doing great. If there was one thing they needed to do, it's get a wide receiver. I think they did it. I think I'm taking them more seriously as contenders out of the NFC. I still like the Rams over them still, because I believe in Matthew Stafford more than I believe in Sam Darnold. But with Puka Nacua starting to get banged up a lot more, I think that the totem pole's kind of swinging a bit, Matt, on my opinion on the Rams, especially if Puka can't stay healthy.
Man, it's close now in that NFC West. These two teams are going to battle it out. I wouldn't be surprised. The way that these two teams are going right now, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever comes out of the NFC West is the representative of the Super Bowl this year, because these two teams are really, really good right now on both sides of the football. And you mentioned it with Shaheed, Sammy. I mean, it's just another guy you got a game plan for. Like, you're not really, when you know, Torrey Horton's the third wide receiver, no disrespect. I like that he's a really good looking young rookie. You're not really game planning for Torrey Horton, but you're game planning for JSN, you're game planning for Cooper Kupp. Now you have to implement Rashid Shaheed into that game plan, because if you don't, he's hitting you over the head for an 80-yard touchdown. So yeah, it's just another added dynamic to that Seattle Seahawks offense that's going to make them even more dangerous. But Sammy, we got to talk about another trade, and it's a trade that's near and dear to your heart.
No.
The Miami Dolphins trade edge rusher Jaelan Phillips to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 2026 third-round pick. It feels that, Sammy, you're going to speak more on this than I am, because this is your guy. But to me, this feels like a guy who's going to absolutely pop off for the Philadelphia Eagles. A really good first 2 years in the league, then a couple of injury-plagued seasons before getting healthy again this year. This Eagles pass rush hasn't been quite as dominant as it was in last year's Super Bowl season, but Phillips is definitely going to help that, and it looks like the Eagles are going to run away with this NFC East now. They're just absolutely dominating this NFC East, especially with the Cowboys uncertain, Commanders pretty much cooked, and then the Giants dealing with so many injuries. But Sammy, I got to leave these Dolphins thoughts to you, buddy. Give me your thoughts on this Jaelan Phillips to the Philadelphia Eagles trade. Give me your sadness. Give me your tears.
All right. Look, Jaelan Phillips was actually one of my favorite players coming out, mostly because he came from my wish to be alma mater, the University of Miami. And you know what? Want to know something? Is that his best year was under Vic Fangio a couple of years ago, and he goes back to the Vic Fangio system, and I could not be happier for him. I think, in my opinion, this is where Jaelan Phillips officially breaks out, barring any injuries. I don't know what this means for Nolan Smith and the rest of that pass rush, but all I know is this. I think Jaelan Phillips is going to be a baller for them, especially the pressure they get in the interior from Jalen Carter and company there. I think This is a great trade for Philly. For the Dolphins, they get a 3rd round pick, and that's it. And that's all I could really say. I do want to say this. If you're going to trade Jaelan Phillips, why didn't you trade like everybody else? Like, I don't understand why exactly we just stuck with Bradley Chubb. We paid him. We paid Bradley Chubb. He's the one who should be gone, not the man on a rookie contract, And we traded him for a 3rd round pick, and Jalen Waddle's still on the team. I'm not mad at that. I love Jalen Waddle. Okay, I waddle all the time. I just think that it's a little bit like, odd that we start a fire sale and then close it 2 minutes in. Just do the fire sale, man. I'm tired. I don't want to. This team is 2-7. Why are we doing this? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting a little. You can see, Matt. I'm very emotional. I love Jaelan Phillips. He's the one guy that of the entire defense. He was the one guy I had hoped we kept just to give him another chance. But they trade him, and then we keep Bradley Chubb. That. I can't do this, Matt. Let's move on. I don't want to. This is terrible. I don't mean to make this a Dolphins-based video. It's just very.
Well, no. I mean, you're the Dolphins guy. We got to get the Dolphins' opinion. So,
man. Why are we not trading more players if we're just going to start at Jaelan Phillips? Trade more. Just trade more. Just do it all. I don't. Why are the Jets doing it and not us?
Yeah. See, that's what I was about to say. I was like, this might be the first time I've ever said this in the history of man. But maybe you should have took some notes from the Jets. Took some notes from the Jets and said, let's just blow it up.
Why
and
are the
start,
Jets taking
start
us
from
to
scratch,
school, bro? This is terrible.
Yeah. It's not a good look, bro. It's really not. It's not a good look for the Dolphins. But hey, you get a 3rd round pick. That'll be the end of the 3rd round because the Eagles will probably be in the Super Bowl again. But it is what it is. But Sammy, another trade, we briefly talked about it on a previous video that we just did for the New York Jets from the Cowboys perspective. The Bengals trade linebacker Logan Wilson to the Cowboys for a conditional 7th. The Cowboys linebackers have been awful this year. Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn have been 2 of the league's worst linebackers this year, so it makes sense they make a move for one, try to get some help in that department. However, Sam, you talked about it in the last episode. This isn't a huge difference-making move either, considering Logan Wilson lost his job to 2 rookies in Cincinnati, Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight Jr. And Cincinnati, by the way, has the league's worst defense in the NFL. The only defense that's worse than the Cowboys is the Cincinnati Bengals. So to me, Sammy, this move is not making a real impact for the Dallas Cowboys defense. What do you think?
No, it doesn't make any kind of impact. I don't understand what is Jerry Jones doing? I don't he just you couldn't have gone for a better linebacker at all. No other linebacker. You want to know what could have helped? You know who I bet you could have asked for and could the Commanders have a lost season. You could have gone there, and if you really wanted to make this team better, you could have tried to make a trade for Bobby Wagner. That would have been more productive than whatever the heck you just did here. Logan Wilson, let me not disrespect Logan Wilson because he's had some great years with the Bengals, okay? Him and Jermaine Pratt, I once called the most underrated linebacker duo in football. And now they're both trash, which sucks. But
one's on your team.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Look, Logan Wilson, in my opinion, his best days are, especially after the injury, his best days are gone. And in my opinion, there's no real point in making just spending capital on bad players, on a bad player. Just there's no point in it. Look, it's harmless. It's the 7th round pick. You're not going to get a lot of production from a 7th round pick anyway. When Overshown, their linebacker when he got hurt, it should have been known, okay, this team is going to be bad. This defense is going to be bad. And that's just the bottom line. But I don't understand trading for Logan Wilson, who's going to be just as bad, in my opinion, as the linebackers you currently have for any kind of draft capital. This is one of the trades I did not really like. And I actually have another trade that I didn't like as well. If we can, I don't like Trevor Penning to the Chargers at all either. You have a very, very thin offensive line room, and you trade the one lineman that you trade for is Trevor Penning, who plays for the Saints, who isn't good. What are we good. And now what I'm thinking is that, okay, so the Chargers traded capital. What I hate, Matt, one of my pet peeves is trading capital that could have upside potentially for players that are known to be struggling or just straight up booty juice. Okay. I don't like that. So when I see the Chargers trade for Trevor Penning, who struggled, I don't I don't get the logic behind it. I don't get it. I get it. You probably need depth, but get good depth. Don't get bad depth. I don't. What's the logic in that, Matt? I don't get that, man.
It was panic. I mean, you lose Joe Alt for the year, you lose Rashawn Slater for the year. You think, oh, former first round pick, for the New Orleans Saints, struggling. Maybe we can turn them around, and maybe you can. It seems like you have a good offensive line development system there in Los Angeles because you've been, developed some of these, young offensive linemen into being, better than they're more talented than Trevor Penning too. Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are far more talented offensive linemen than Trevor Penning. But I mean, they've developed them into elite offensive linemen, so they deserve credit for that. But I don't think you're going to do it with Trevor Penning because, like you mentioned, Sammy, he's on year 3, year 4, year 5, I don't know, something like that, and it just hasn't worked out for him so far. So yeah, I also agree with you that that's not a great move. One other move I want to talk about, Sammy, the Titans trading offense or outside linebacker Dre'Mont Jones to the Ravens for a conditional 5th round pick. I think that's a good move because Jones has been playing well for the Titans, 4.5 sacks in the last month of football. He could help this pass rush for the Baltimore Ravens that needed a little bit of help, and that's been this Ravens defense has been getting a little bit better as of late. Did you have any thoughts on Dre'Mont Jones to the Ravens, Sammy?
I like the trade. It was actually one of the trades I did I write down here. I think that the Ravens are on the up and up, and I think that as long as they keep on winning, they have an interesting matchup against the Vikings, who have a second-year QB who hasn't played a lot of football. You bring a lot of pressure to him. Who knows what happens? I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned on what they're going to do with Justin Jefferson, but I still think that this is a great trade. I think the Ravens pass rush hasn't been that good, especially compared to recent years. So I think bringing in some of that help is going to definitely benefit them, especially in a very late season push to try to potentially win the division or at the very least make the playoffs. So it's an interesting trade. I like the trade. I think the Ravens are trying to salvage a season that so far hasn't gone according to plan, but this is how you get the season back on track. They're 3-5 with a pretty light schedule. I think this trade helps them a lot. I'd say if I were to talk about an overall winner of the trade deadline, I think it hands down goes to the Jets. I mean, just
the Jets
trading away Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams and getting 5 first-round picks. Oh, not 5. Is it 5? It's 5.
3.
It's 3 first-round picks in total in the next couple of years. I mean, that's incredible. I'd say for losers, it's the teams that didn't make any moves. I mean, I'm talking the Commanders. Like their season
Commanders. What are you doing?
Nothing done at all.
Crazy.
All, your season's over. Your QB's done. You're not trying to trade away to get some draft capital, and you don't have trash players. I mean, it's not like Bobby Wagner's not worth a damn at all. He's still playing at a pretty good level. You could trade him to a contender. I think the teams that sat on their hands and did absolutely nothing are losers, 1,000%, especially with teams with absolutely lost seasons. The Jets had a lost season, and they showed you how to sell at the trade deadline. I can't believe Commanders or Dolphins didn't make any kind of moves, bro.
I can't either. Yeah, that's one of the most disappointing things. And Taylor, when he's editing this, is going to appreciate this because both of us are Yankee fans. And Joe's McFly said it a couple years ago. I think it was the 2023 trade deadline. And the Yankees were really bad. Like they weren't really bad, but we knew they weren't going to make a run, and we knew they were going to miss the playoffs. And he's like, doing nothing is crazy. He's like screaming. Yeah. Like do it like you got to do something. Sell the vets, or bring in some sort of piece that's going to help for the future or something. And two, I saw the Jets kept Breece. Like they could have traded him to the Chiefs. The Chiefs offered a 4th, and they were like super sticklers about a 3rd. And I was like I probably would have traded Breece for a 4th to the Chiefs. Like if I'm the Jets, just based on where they're at right now, So
I think they really want to keep like. My thought process about them,
something,
because you notice they kept most of their offensive and they added to their offense. What I'm thinking is that they're trying to build the line and the weapons room for the next QB that they're going to herald.
The QB.
So I think that that's actually not a bad move. What I will say is that you're going to have to worry about paying Breece Hall eventually. So if it's not this year, it's likely next year where they're going to trade him. And if they don't trade him next year, I think they're just going to pay him. I don't know how much, but they might just pay him.
I mean, they got extra money now.
Yeah, they
got extra money now. They just offload a lot of salary,
which is why you trade Sauce and Quinnen. So,
and it wasn't a lot of like contenders trading either. Like there wasn't any Kansas City, there wasn't a Buffalo.
It shocked me. I think the one contender, the 2 contenders that actually like made trades were the Seahawks and the Colts. I didn't see any movement from the Bills. who could have used some help. I didn't see any movement from the Chiefs potentially.
Yeah, it's just a damn shame for these guys who decided, no move could possibly be made.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.